So I got the official diagnosis with ADHD, and I want to talk about it today. But first, I want to share something from Reddit. Somebody posted. All right. So the person says it's exhausting being smart with ADHD. Feels like I don't belong to either side. Sometimes it feels like my brain is just mocking me. People who know me always tell me I'm smart, and I guess I believe them. But then ADHD makes me feel like the dumbest person alive. It's like I have the tools, but the person in charge of using them in a drunk monkey way, I guess. And then comes the weird imposter syndrome spiral. On one hand, I think I can't really have ADHD that bad. Look how far I've made it. On the other hand, I make the same mistakes every week, miss the same deadlines, forget the same shit, and I think, wow, I must actually just be stupid. I don't fit fully into either category. And as she talks about, I mentioned this to the therapist a lot. And as you see, there's just a lot of people who feel the same, right? Wherever you go, exactly, oh my God, we are very similar, all this different stuff. And that's what I want to talk about today. I'm pretty sure that 90% of people with ADHD who read this feel similar, including me. And funny enough, I created a video about this actually. How I was a serial entrepreneur, well, in particular a serial starter entrepreneur. I'm good in the 0 to 1, but then I leave it hanging. And most probably that's because of ADHD, right? But again, first off, this is never the intent to be as a victim, right? Maybe you don't even believe in the diagnosis of ADHD. That's perfectly fine too. I did it for many years. But where this is more about is that I want to make people resonate with one another and find solutions in that way. Rather than, this doctor or this study, we tested it on a couple of people, it might work, but then it doesn't after a couple of years. Because here's just real feedback of people's feelings. And that's why Reddit is powerful, in my opinion. Of course, don't take any advice, in particular about medicine, but people can help you find certain relief, I think, with their experiences. And so that's very important. And of course, I also need to talk about my story and share that. And I did it also in a previous video, but just to focus a little bit more on the ADHD side of things. It's actually crazy to think that now I'm 34 years old, that I had so many moments in my life where I was like, holy fuck. I feel stupid. I literally feel stupid. My brain isn't functioning proper, or they did the IQ test wrong. I have a very low IQ. And looking back, that's been since I remember. I got also the diagnosis, dyslexia, right? I got that from a very young age, where that's the first indicator, I think, already for ADHD. They're closely related. It was a very expensive test at the time, and it went deep. And so they diagnosed me with this. So people at school at the time, to be honest, I don't even know. I don't even think nothing changed. I didn't even get more time or a bigger book with letters or whatever they do. I don't even remember anything what they provided. It was more so I feel like they did the test to get the money and that's it. But then over the years, it just I just put it under the carpet. And maybe also because of where I'm from. I'm from a farmer village where people don't talk really about their emotions, and they don't believe in diagnoses like ADHD or even dyslexia. It's just you gotta push through, it's, stop being a wimpy. What is of course absolute BS, right? ADHD diagnosis, of course, there's that part also in me of if my environment would be completely different, I would be thriving, and that wouldn't be a diagnosis, right? So, and that's also, I think, a beautiful frame of mind, for everybody out there with ADHD. Remember that you will be on the forefront of climbing that mountain, of explore, of leading the tribe, fixing things when there is absolute chaos. But unfortunately, the world isn't that way. So we need to find relief with one another, but also a way how we can function. And with some people, it helps with medicine, and that's okay too. I read a lot of comments online where people said they're 40 and they were unmedicated, and then they tried it and they say, oh my God, I grieve that I didn't take this medicine earlier, and so I could take back the time that I lost when I was in absolute chaos, in sadness and depression. Right? And I think there's also certain studies saying that if you are diagnosed with ADHD, the people who are medicated, they live longer in general. And it makes sense to me, because I personally, if I look back at the time when I was younger, how often I was so angry. I was so angry at, like, not even the world, but why me? Victim, I guess, but why can I not be like them, having a normal brain and think normal? And then I also saw another topic where people said, like, yeah, and I even have it when, let's say there's a certain argument or a discussion. It's very difficult to remember, to say certain things. And because of that, I believe that other people think I'm stupid. And then you go again into that loop of like, shit, and maybe you don't even want to meet people eventually, you close down, etc. So it's very tricky. It's not easy at all. And I felt the need to share it today because, as you see, there's just a lot of people online, what is shocking, who feel this way. Literally saying, sometimes it feels like my brain is mocking me. People who know me always tell me I'm smart, and I guess I believe them, but then ADHD makes me feel like I'm the dumbest person alive, right? With her, at least people do mention it. I think also in a lot of environments, people are more closed up. They wouldn't even give these kind of compliments. So I think it's very important for us people with ADHD to get certain recognition that we're not something. But yeah, I think we need to keep sharing, guys. We need to keep sharing with each other that we also had these experiences, so we at least don't feel alone. And when we don't feel alone, that's already the first step towards healing. Is not the right word, but to give it a place, right? This diagnosis. And hopefully, by keep putting a light on this and coming together, we will find solutions for the problems we're facing in this society in particular. Right, so yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If you are diagnosed with ADHD and maybe you know somebody, and of course also your experience, especially from back in the days, if you felt that too, like if you look back, like, oh man, there were so many times maybe I made a fool out of myself, or I said certain things without even thinking about it, or I was in an argument. And in the midst of it, I realized I want to get out of here because I feel extremely stupid right now because I don't remember these facts, or I'm so highly in my emotions right now that it's blank, right? So yeah, I'm very curious to hear that, guys. Let's share, let's be vulnerable about this, and let me know also what you want to see on this channel. All right, enjoy your day. Ciao.